If you're a small business owner, chances are you've heard of 1099 forms. For many business owners, 1099 filings can be confusing, especially when they're trying to determine who should get one, which 1099 form to file, and when to file it. The good news is that once you understand or have a basic understanding of 1099 filing, it becomes a normal part of running your business. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe, a licensed certified public accountant with over 15 years experience in corporate and public accounting. I have an extensive background in accounting, audit, and taxes, and I'm all about helping you take control of your money by living smarter. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on all notifications. And check out the blog site where we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today's topic is one that confuses many business owners, and that's 1099 filing. We'll cover who gets a 1099, who doesn't, common mistakes, deadlines, and how to avoid IRS penalties. If you're a small business owner who works with contractors, freelancers, or consultant, then this video is for you. Alrighty, let's quickly go over what is a 1099. Alrighty, let's start with the basics. A 1099 is a tax form used to report certain payments made during the year. Employees receive W-2s. Independent contractors usually receive a 1099. And this is the part that usually confuses most business owners. What's the difference between an employee and an independent contractor? And this is the way to look at it. An employee, your employer, which would be you, the small business owner, if you're employing an employee, you have a you have more control over when that employee is supposed to come to work, the type of work that they're going to be doing. But the biggest thing is the control over the schedule. An independent contractor, you as the employer, do not have control over that independent contractor schedule. They work when they work. Even though you want an end product, whenever that end product gets done is when it gets done. And you negotiate on when and how the type of work is supposed to be done. So that's the biggest difference between an employee and an independent contractor. It really comes down to control of their schedule, the benefits, and the type of pay that they're receiving. The IRS usually uses these forms to track income to ensure taxpayers are properly reporting the earnings. And and we're talking about here is the 1099. So the IRS wants to be able to track that income. Even though as an independent contractor, you get a little bit more benefits, the IRS still knows how much money you made from different contracting jobs that you did. So think of a 1099 as a record showing money your business paid to someone who is not an employee. Now, let's talk about what is and understand a 1099 NEC. The most common form that you'll probably use when it comes to filing your 1099s is the 1099 NEC. And what does the NEC stand for? It stands for non-employee compensation. You generally use needed to you generally need to issue one if you paid at least $600 to an independent contractor and the person isn't your employee and the payment was for business services. Some of these business services include examples such as a freelancer helped design your logo. You had a consultant come in and help with some portion of your business. If you have a bookkeeper or an accountant, a marketing professional comes in, or if you have a website developer. These are generally the reasons why you would give out a 1099 NEC. And remember, these aren't employees of your business, and you need to pay at least $600 during the calendar year in order for them to qualify for you to give them a 1099 NEC. Alrighty, now let's look at who doesn't get a 1099. Remember, not every vendor gets a 1099. Generally, this is a list of excluded folks that don't receive a 1099. If you're making payments to a corporation, if you're purchasing product, if it's a personal expense, if your employees definitely don't get a 1099, and credit card transactions. Many business owners waste time sending forms they don't actually need to send. Understanding the expectations can save a lot of effort. Let's talk about the importance of a W 9. Before you begin paying a contractor or before they even begin to commence work, be sure to get a Form W-9 from the contractor. This form is going to provide a couple of things. It's going to provide the contractor's name, th- their address, their taxpayer ID, and their business classification. Without it, preparing for year-end forms becomes much more difficult. Make this a part Make this a part of your onboarding process whenever you're bringing in any kind of independent contractor that you know at the end of the year you're going to have to file some sort of 1099 form for. Remember, this is going to help to reduce your error filing errors. The 1099, the W9 form, excuse me, the W9 form is very important for contractors. This is really going to help you to make sure that your year-end filing, when you get ready to file those 1099s, is a lot easier because they're going to ask for these W9s and whatnot. So make sure you're getting these up front. It's best to make this part of your onboarding process when you're bringing in independent contractors and whatnot. Let's talk about some key deadlines that you need to meet. This should be pretty easy for most small businesses because there's only one deadline for both that you have to meet, and that's January 31st. That's the key date to remember. 1099 forms generally must be sent to the recipient, whoever that independent contractor, and filed with the IRS on the same day, which is January 31st. It's best to get this stuff done ahead of time, but the drop dead deadline that you have to send it out to recipients, whoever that independent contractor is, and to file the 1099 with the IRS is January 31st. Just remember, missing these deadlines can result in penalties. The best strategy is preparation. Review contractor payments in December and start preparing forms early. The earlier you can prepare it, the better off you are. Even if you have to project a little bit on what's going on in December, at least you have it ready. It's ready to go. So come maybe January 1st, you can send it off, but you want to have a deadline, an internal deadline that's ahead or before the January 31st deadline. So maybe your deadline to file the IRS, the file with the IRS, maybe January 5th or 6th, right after the holiday when everyone comes back. And then your deadline internally to get them out to your contractors, maybe January 15th or January 20th or something like that. You just want to make sure that you're meeting those deadlines because if not, it's going to result in penalties. And who wants to really pay penalties in their business? Let's go over some best practice tips for small business owners. Here's 5 simple tips small business owners can implement to make sure that they're staying compliant and ahead of the game when it comes to 1099 filings. Be sure to collect W-9s immediately. Remember, this is one of the most important things, and it's going to really help you at the end of the year when you get ready to file those 1099s. You want to make sure you put this as part of your onboarding process and you collect these before you make any payments or any work starts with your independent contractors. Number two, keep accurate payment records. You're going to want to really keep up with how much you paid to who and to what. You may be wasting your time if you didn't meet the threshold by filing a 1099 that didn't need to be filed. So now you just wasted time when you could have been doing something else. Or you may underreport what one of your independent contractors actually made because you weren't keeping good records. Number three, make sure you're using accounting software. If it's not an accounting software, use some kind of payroll software that can actually track um, those payments to your independent contractors. Number four, review your vendors quarterly. See what you're paying. See what's going out, and not only what's going out, but what's the end product of that? Are you getting the reporting that you need? If it's from a bookkeeper or an accountant, are you seeing the payoff or the return on your investment if you're using some sort of marketing uh, firm? Um, and also, you also want to check and see maybe checking in on your logo. Is your logo distinguished? Is it unique from the competition? So you want to review those uh, vendor payments quarterly to see and check in to see like what products you're getting at the end of the day and are they useful in your business. And number five, don't wait until January to start tracking and figuring out who needs to get a 1099, when to start filing, and when to start doing that. All you're going to do is create yourself more work more anxiety, more stress. And not only that, you're probably going to end up paying a penalty because you're going to miss that January 31st deadline. Follow these tips to make simple to make compliance much easier. So, what's our key takeaway? 1099 filing doesn't have to be stressful. If you understand the rules, collect W-9s, track payments, and meet deadlines. Doing these four things will help keep your business compliant and organized. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with other business owners. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week to break down key reports to review monthly.